as you can see here, Dijonai is going up for the ball. She misses, and then her hand bends down like this and goes straight into Caitlin's eye. Many people are calling for the WNBA to review this. Many people are calling for Dijonai Carrington to be suspended for the next game.
Did you witness what just happened to Caitlin Clark? It was one of the most shocking moments this season. Dijonai Carrington poked Clark directly in the eye during a playoff game, and astonishingly, no foul was called. This alarming incident has left Rachel Dita and other analysts outraged over the bullying situation involving Caitlin Clark, and fans are absolutely livid.
Now a lot of people online are asking for the WNBA to review this play because as multiple angles have come out of this play, it seems like it might have been intentional.
So, what exactly transpired, and why did the WNBA referees not call a foul? It almost seems as though Caitlin Clark is a constant target, akin to the Michael Jordan of the league.
The Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted, has a black eye during the second half of the game because Dijonai Carrington stabbed her with her fingernails in the eye.
Caitlin Clark, a rising star in the WNBA, was subjected to such a dirty foul that many are now calling for a league-wide review. Despite the severity of the incident, there was no flagrant foul, no whistle, nothing. Additionally, this eye injury hindered Clark's performance throughout the match. Authorities are now considering reforms that could significantly impact the game and potentially alter the WNBA permanently.
To hang on this pride of we have a physical league is so weird. Like, why is that something that you're proud of? There's a certain level of physicality to basketball, yes, but this excessive physicality that you're just like, yep, gotta get right for the WNBA because it's physical. It's like, no, get better refs and stop letting people get away with BS. It's not a quality basketball game. It's not a quality product.
The internet is in an uproar, with many demanding immediate action. People want Carrington suspended for the next game, and some are even calling for a complete overhaul of WNBA officiating. That foul was no minor issue. Caitlin could have lost her eye.
No foul call. No refs stopping the game to go, is this a flagrant? None of that. Just everybody moved on.
It's clear that Clark is in pain, and this is not an isolated incident. We have all seen what has been happening to her throughout the season, and soon, we will know what happens next. How could the referees miss that? Those officials need to schedule an eye exam. Rachel Dita will no longer tolerate this extreme aggression being directed at Clark.
Internet being in an uproar, saying that players are doing this on purpose. This is the kind of reputation that the WNBA starts to get, because there was also a stat that came out a few weeks ago that said Caitlin Clark received 17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season, and 80% of those flagrant fouls were committed by the Chicago Sky against Caitlin Clark.
This is truly shocking. Caitlin Clark has been on the receiving end of 177% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season. Let that sink in. 177%. She's been targeted so frequently that it's evident they're gunning for her, with 80% of those fouls coming from just one team, the Chicago Sky. They are treating her like the league's punching bag.
I do, however, think that the refs missed this one big. I think this should, at the very minimum, have been a flagrant one. Because, you guys, a flagrant one doesn't necessarily mean that somebody purposefully tried to injure another player. It could just be a reckless basketball play.
What is going on in the WNBA? Why do players have such long nails? They are on the court, not at a nightclub.
It is a hazard. Like, these nails, and these nails, I've seen worse nails than this in the WNBA. Like, this is a safety hazard. Like, having nails that long, and they're longer than this now. But like, nails like that are a safety hazard.
I remember when I was learning to play basketball, my coach never allowed me on the court with long nails. This rule applied to both boys and girls. How are these league coaches allowing players to have such long nails?
I think for a lot of these casual fans, and specifically a lot of these casual fans who have come into watching the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark, who plays a smooth style of basketball, who shoots from really far away, who makes great passes, who handles the ball well. People are coming for a style of play that is similar to that. They are not looking for post players to be posting up on one another, drop step, one step to the basket, cheap shots, fouls, slow style of basketball. basketball, they want to see a run and gun game. And I think that that is the most exciting way to watch a women's game.
These fouls are becoming excessive, and it's not just the fans noticing. Analysts and former players are speaking up, saying this level of physicality is dangerous and unfair, putting players like Clark at significant risk.
Do you know why? Because at the end of the day, it's not just the sport, it's the entertainment of the sport, and you need to protect your superstars. And the WNBA has not done well this entire season of protecting their one superstar who brought in more eyeballs than anyone else has ever done in the league. She should have a special whistle. Calls like this should be made, should be reviewed. People should know right off the bat, it shouldn't be the first round of the playoffs that players think that they can still do this kind of thing to Caitlin Clark.
Do you know why Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest star, is being singled out and targeted by her peers? And why are WNBA referees ignoring the issue? It's clear to me. Jealousy.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes.
Charles Barkley, always blunt, pointed out that these other players are benefiting significantly because of Caitlin Clark. Instead of being petty, they should be grateful.
Listen, what she's accomplished, give her flowers. Stop being petty, all you women out there. She got y'all ass charters. She bringing all y'all this money to the table, but y'all being petty like dudes. LeBron, you are 100% right. Y'all girls, stop being petty. Caitlin Clark, thank you for bringing all that money and shine to the WNBA.
The most shocking aspect is that these players aren't even hiding their jealousy. They are openly attacking Caitlin Clark, and they will continue unless the WNBA takes action.
I think Angel Reese is jealous of Caitlin Clark. She thinks she's, the reason why this is all happening here. Caitlin Clark was going to get eyeballs whether she played against Angel Reese in LSU or not.
But this still doesn't explain why WNBA authorities are reluctant to acknowledge this unfortunate reality. Why is the WNBA spiraling into excessive physicality?
My issue and my question is, where the fuck are her teammates at? Where y'all at? Where the rest of the Indiana Fever at? I've seen a couple girls smirk when she's got knocked down, half-assed to pick her up. Like, y'all supposed to protect the asset, protect the star. And all this is the team, she's the star. You always protect your star. I was someone who protected the stars. You fuck with Cole, CP, Blake, list goes on. It's going to be a problem because you guys are supposed to be a family. Coach don't do shit about it. Players don't do shit about it. Y'all should be ashamed of it. But the rest of the league is going to continue to test her. And that's what they're supposed to do. It's your guys' fucking job to have her back and have each other's back. Got to do better, ladies.
Teen Barkley is absolutely right. And the most disheartening part is that opponents are attacking her, but her teammates aren't defending her. Even her coach betrayed her by failing to call out the foul, instead blaming their weak defense.
But at the end of the day, it's not about the officiating tonight, for sure. I mean, we've got to be better defensively.
Can you believe it? Even her coach, Christy Sides, refuses to acknowledge the blatant foul committed by Dijonai Carrington. It's simply unbelievable.
Caitlin, this was a different look in terms of putting Duana on Caitlin and Dijonai on Kelsey. Did that do anything to affect how you guys played throughout the game? Did that have any impact on the play today?
I think, they were going to make adjustments. They were going to change up their schemes. They were going to change the matchups. We had talked about getting back the matchups that we...
With her player sitting next to her with a swollen eye, all Sides had to say was that the referees weren't wrong, but that their defense was weak. The WNBA is giving Caitlin Clark more reasons to leave and join another league.
And the refs should also be aware that the most eyeballs at any given moment are going to be on Caitlin Clark. So call it a special whistle, call it whatever you need it to be. If you don't want to have constant viral videos of other WNBA players fouling Caitlin and the internet being in an uproar, saying that players are doing this on purpose.
Teen fans are now demanding a fairer game, one that doesn't involve excessive physicality, especially with remarkable players like Caitlin Clark.
Some of the players You want to use the word jealousy? Fine. You want to use the word envy? Fine. You want to use the word resentment? We want to play with words? That's cool. It's something. And I think that some of the ladies, not all, but some of the ladies in the WNBA are missing the point. And the point is, this girl right here is a box office attraction. And because of her box office attraction, it's generating more eyeballs to the WNBA product, therefore more revenue for the WNBA product. Don't you think y'all are going to benefit from that too?
These violent fouls against Caitlin Clark have spiraled out of control. It will be difficult to rein them in unless the WNBA authorities step in and put an end to this chaos.
Now, this one that we see right here that I believe should have been a flagrant foul was not called that. So there have been cheap shots, there have been hard fouls, there have been other plays that haven't even been called flagrant fouls. But when you have the face of your league getting nearly 20% of all flagrant fouls called against her, that is an issue. And that's not just an issue that the players have to work out. That is from top down. That goes to the commissioner level.
These numbers are troubling. There's a difference between playing aggressively and shamelessly targeting one of the league's top players, with referees doing nothing to stop it.
With this incident, it got me thinking about how the WNBA loves to brag about the fact that they are a very physical league. And that's what a lot of players and coaches said about Caitlin Clark and about the rookie class coming into the league, is that that was going to be something that they would need to adjust to. They would need to adjust to the physicality of this league. It's very physical, and you're not going to get the same kind of looks that you did in college. Like, the list goes on. These WNBA players, GMs, coaches, all of the above like to take pride in the fact that the league is very physical.
Are you serious? What kind of game are they trying to promote here? The last time I checked, basketball was about scoring points, not tackling, choking, or slamming opponents.
The question I'm going to pose here today is, why is that something that you're proud of? I honestly think that the physicality in the WNBA is going to hurt it in the long run.
Is the WNBA really proud of this level of physicality? Because if they don't clamp down on these reckless plays, someone is going to get seriously hurt. With the league's star player bearing the brunt of it, this could be the downfall of the WNBA's growing spotlight.
With that, there's going to be, it's human nature sometimes, to have some envy or some jealousy, and it's happening now to Caitlin Clark.
What's even more astonishing is that Dijonai Carrington tried to defend herself after committing such an obvious foul. Just look at her response.
But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am.
Really, Carrington? We all saw the replay. Fans are calling it nonsense, and Rachel Dita isn't buying it either. Carrington couldn't even make eye contact with the reporter because she knew she was lying.
Caitlin, could you tell us a little bit about your eye, the hit, if it affected you, how it affected you, and through the rest of the game? Thanks.
Yeah, obviously got me pretty good in the eye. I don't think it affected me. Honestly, I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down, and obviously a tough time for that to happen. Like, I got some really good looks. I felt I had three wide open threes in the first half that, like, you usually make. So that's tough.
When asked about the foul, Caitlin Clark, in her usual classy manner, downplayed the drama, saying the foul wasn't intentional. But we all know the truth. Carrington has an issue with Clark.
And a few weeks ago, you tweeted that the Indiana Fever have the nastiest fans in the league. Do you have any message for them going into this series?
No.
Carrington has pulled stunts like this before. She has a history of animosity toward Caitlin Clark.
And Dijonai has a history with Caitlin Clark. Like many of these girls in the WNBA, but she's at the top of the list along with Kennedy Carter in Chicago and Angel Reese.
Just look at her mocking Clark during a game. It's pure jealousy, and she's the only one who looks foolish. But getting physical is unacceptable, and now she's being called out for attacking the WNBA's rising star. Fans wanted Clark to stand up for herself, but she wisely avoided the confrontation.
Caitlin Clark is not a punk, but she's also smart enough to know fighting some angry black lesbians, not her job, and it would lead to a collapse of the league.
Fans are now calling for Carrington's suspension, demanding that the WNBA take this matter seriously. If they don't, what message does that send to young players? that it's acceptable to foul star players without facing consequences.
The fact that the Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted, has a black eye during the second half of the game because Dijonai Carrington stabbed her with her fingernails in the eye.
This is about more than just protecting Caitlin Clark. It's about safeguarding the future of the league. People fear that if the WNBA continues to allow reckless play, they'll lose all the fans they've gained since Clark's emergence.
You can take a reference from the NBA. A lot of NBA fans will say that the NBA is soft now. You can't get away with anything. And you know what? That's so true. Because Adam Silver has gone out of his way to protect his players and also make the game a lot quicker. We've seen in the past 10 years, the NBA style has evolved in a way that I personally think is a much more exciting game.
Rachel Dita, a respected WNBA analyst, isn't holding back in criticizing the attack on Caitlin Clark and the lack of action from WNBA authorities.
We've seen in the past 10 years, the NBA style has evolved in a way that I personally think is a much more exciting game. If you think about the NBA 30, 40 years ago, it was a lot different. The style was a lot different. There was a much bigger post presence. The ball play was inside out. A lot of people didn't shoot three-pointers like they are.
She has compared the WNBA and NBA, noting how the men's game has evolved to protect its players.
And with that, there has been a lot of changes to the way that fouls are called, the clear path foul, flagrant fouls, hand checking. There are so many things that have been put into play to speed up the game, make the scoring go up in the game, and allow players more protection because these NBA players are playing so many games.
The WNBA has failed to protect its players, and we're not talking about minor shoves. We're referring to career-threatening attacks on potential star players.
What you have in the WNBA is you have some rivalries here. And not everybody is embracing Caitlin Clark. Not everybody is going to let you get away with what you got away with in Iowa. She's her own economy right now. All of these different media outlets, they know that you're going to get clicks when you have something on Caitlin Clark in the WNBA.
3 Data's stance on the need for stricter rules in the WNBA is logical, as it has the potential to reshape how the league operates. She even suggested a special whistle for top WNBA players, a practice common in the NBA. But will it be enough?
WNBA players play on the floor. They do not play above the rim like in the NBA. What is exciting about the women's game? It's exciting when the game is quick, the ball is moved around, players are shooting from well behind the arc. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Is it exciting to see players battling in the post, fouling and bully ball, and excessive physicality in the game? To me, isn't as exciting to watch.
Data is absolutely right. No one wants to watch a glorified wrestling match when they've paid for a basketball game, especially when all the aggression is directed at the fans' favorite rookie of the year.
Spread the floor. Let these women score like 30 to 35 points a game. That's what people want to see. They want to see high-scoring games. They want to see the ball moving.
Achieving this requires the WNBA to hire neutral referees who will actually call fouls.
And if you crack down on some of these cheap fouls right here, the ones where there's no basketball play, like I don't know yet if I've seen a player be suspended this season in the WNBA. Do you guys remember when Draymond was kicking people in the nuts and doing all of these different things during his season? He got suspended swiftly. And that was to set an example for other players like, hey, this is not going to be tolerated.
After seeing Caitlin Clark become a punching bag, people on social media are demanding stricter and safer play in the WNBA, calling for a complete overhaul of the current system.
That is something that needs to be implemented and enforced so much more in the WNBA. Not calling some of these fouls and not cracking down on some of these cheap shots and hard fouls that are so excessive, not only against Caitlin Clark, but against other players as well. You see compilations of them online. Not cracking down on these are going to turn people off to watching the WNBA, and it's not going to allow the league to grow. Last thing, you guys, and it might be controversial, but there has been a lot of talk about a special whistle that certain players in the WNBA get and some players don't.
While many fans agree with this, not everyone supports the changes. Some argue that using special whistles could be unfair, and others worry it might dilute the physical nature of the game. However, based on the attacks on Clark, these measures seem necessary. Otherwise, players like Carrington will continue their aggressive behavior.